Hello, and welcome to the show where I guess SNL Weekend Update jokes. Last week, I didn't get anything right, I'm assuming, but my friend Montana did. So this week, I'm going to be delivering jokes written by my friends and family. Again, I did not write any of these jokes, so you can't get mad at me. I don't want to give them too much power though, so we're doing this on a weekend where there's not actually a new SNL. Here are tonight's top stories. The following jokes are written by Montana and Rachel, who included a laugh track in after all of their jokes, which I really appreciated. After the infamous press conference held there last weekend, Four Seasons Total Landscaping has capitalized on their 15 minutes of fame and sold out of their Make America Rake Again merch. I think it's safe to assume that the sex shop next door is also experiencing an uptick in sales. The complete embarrassment of the Republican Party is definitely making everyone horny. With the announcements surrounding the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine this week, there is hope that the vaccine may be able to begin to be distributed to healthcare workers and at-risk groups as soon as the end of this year. With the announcement of 4 more people in Trump's circle testing positive for coronavirus after the election party, it seems like the White House is the most at-risk group. This week, Sony gifted a PS5 to the man who was the first in line for both the PS4 and PS4 Pro during their respective launches. The PS5 came with a note that read, "Patience is a virtue." Considering the fact that the PS5 has been sold out since minutes after both the initial launch and the following staggered releases, I think this guy is the only one who doesn't need to exercise patience. Yesterday was Friday the 13th during a US presidential election month in an already unfortunate year. After everything 2020 has brought us, I'm surprised the entire world didn't just implode. Thank you, Montana and Rachel. The following jokes are written by Jeff Chamer. This one is written for Michael Che. A 51-year-old woman in Illinois gave birth to her granddaughter this month. Big fucking deal, said the Virgin Mary. And this one was written for Colin Jost. A botched statue restoration in a small town in Spain went viral on social media after photos circulated online. However, upon closer inspection, I think it's clear where the artists drew their inspiration from. Alternative joke. It makes sense once you realize the statue was commissioned by Donald Trump. Thank you, Jeff. The following jokes were written by Jeff Chamer. More controversy surrounding Biden's transition to the White House this week. Trump's refusal to accept the election results has prevented Biden from receiving intelligence briefings, among other resources. To be fair, the Trump White House doesn't have much intelligence to offer. But Biden has already started to publicly discuss policies for when he takes office, including potentially lowering Medicare eligibility to age 60. But hospitals have pushed back on this idea, stating, "What do we look like, hospitals?" In other news, Pfizer, the mega pharmaceutical company responsible for Viagra, has announced a COVID vaccine that is 90% effective. In keeping with regulation, Pfizer stated, "If your COVID symptoms should last more than 4 hours, contact Dr. Fauci." That was a pretty good one, Jeff. Thank you to the real Jeff Chamer. The next few jokes were written by my dad. All of the hardcore Trump supporters are fleeing Facebook for Parler. I went over there to see what all the fuss was about, but I was rejected as a socialist libtard because my user profile didn't have any grammatical errors. With all the far-right Trumpers leaving, we're going to see a change in the level of discourse on Facebook. I don't know how I'll survive Thanksgiving this year without hearing my cousin Kenny's recipe for a possum-based alternative to turkey. Some political analysts are predicting that Trump will try to operate a government in exile from Mar-a-Lago. With many of his cronies and supporters also moving there, Florida is starting to look a lot like late 1940s Argentina. In the wake of President-elect Biden's win, Mississippi Representative Price Wallace asked for the state to secede from the Union and form its own country. President-elect Biden said that would be okay, but only if they took Alabama as well. Alternative joke. This move would dramatically increase both the average income and average IQ of the Mississippi Free USA. Thanks, Dad. The following jokes were written by my friend Rose. Target has rolled out Black Friday deals on Dyson vacuums. This deal sucks. Some headlines have been asking, what happens now? What happens now? You tell me. You're the news. There have been few legal wins so far as Trump's team hunts for proof of voter fraud. Quote, "From the inside looking out, it all feels very deranged. Looks pretty deranged from the outside, too." John Waters has bequeathed his art collection to the Baltimore Museum of Art, whose bathrooms will be named in his honor. They will be called Waters Closets. Who are the contenders for Biden's cabinet? Sources are saying IKEA's Eckett model is the current favorite. Thank you, my friend Rose. The following jokes were written by my best friend who wanted to remain nameless. That was the Jeopardy theme, in case you couldn't tell. Oh, what an insensitive joke. The Queen's Gambit miniseries, which follows a female chess prodigy playing a bunch of games of chess, took binge watchers by storm, racking up millions of streams and topping Netflix's chart. Bolstered by its success, I've begun pitching my new show, 14 hours of me and my granny playing gin rummy on the kitchen table. William Latson, principal of Spanish River Community High School, was fired for an email with a parent where he stated he had to stay politically neutral and that "I can't say the Holocaust is a factual historical event because I am not in the position to do so as a school district employee." He clarified that "I do allow information about the Holocaust to be presented and allow students and parents to make decisions about it accordingly." He wrote, "I do the same with information about slavery." Was this guy really trying to slip in his disbelief that slavery was a thing, while getting fired for trying to suggest that it's new wave PC culture to not take a hardline stance on the Holocaust? The only job this guy is going to be able to get moving forward is an acting gig playing a ghost in the Deep South. New research emerged this week that Alexander Hamilton did indeed own, buy, and sell slaves, despite previous accounts that he was an abolitionist. This means that Daddy Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to apologize to me for Hamilton, and all the stands can suck my nuts. I bet you regret that tattoo now, don't you? I am finally rid of that wretched musical. Mwahahaha! I hope that was delivered to your liking. Thank you, my best friend who wishes to remain nameless. The following jokes were written by Barband Ianru. He wanted me to put in a disclaimer that these are not jokes that he would ever say, but they're just representations of jokes that he thinks SNL would tell. He wrote 16 jokes, so I had to cut a few out. Sorry, Barband. This is a Michael Che joke. Everyone's now talking about when Melania is going to divorce Trump. And I'm like, she just put up with the worst part of their marriage where she had to decorate for Christmas and all that shit. Now she gets to go back to just being a single parent and being rich. Her getting divorced now would be like driving your annoying kids all the way to Florida and not just leaving them at the resort daycare to go get drunk. Barack Obama released his new memoir this week, reminding us that some presidents can write. But for real, shout out to Obama for not upstaging whoever it was that won the presidency's speech last week. Lord knows no one would have listened to him talk if this memoir's audiobook had already hit Amazon. It looks like Trump is riling up his base for a runoff in Georgia. Runoff in Georgia also being the phrase Trump's base uses to describe their relatives who married a black person. A new coronavirus vaccine was announced by Pfizer that is 90% effective. The biggest drawback is that it has to be kept in cold storage up to the point of use, said the CEO of Pfizer, while the CEO of Whirlpool and KitchenAid both slipped him an envelope. In sadder news, Alex Trebek, longtime and universally beloved host of Jeopardy, passed away this weekend. Here at SNL, we've used so many Jeopardy parodies to fill up space when we just really didn't have any new ideas. Trebek will be sorely missed. This does prompt the question, this person is tragically unable to fill the shoes of their predecessor. Who is the next host of Jeopardy? That's correct. We also would have accepted who is Seth Meyers. Alex Acosta, the prosecutor who let Jeffrey Epstein off easy, was said to have used poor judgment by the DOJ when letting Epstein get away with sexually assaulting young girls in a plea deal. Though, really, I think he was using rich judgment on Epstein. Thank you, Barband, for your jokes. Thank you very much to all of my friends and family who submitted jokes. I was pleasantly surprised by how good they were. And it was also way easier that I didn't have to write all the jokes myself. Thank you all for watching, and thanks for participating if you did. I hope you liked this episode, and I will see you again at some point. Bye! Do you like the new backdrop?